Believe it or not, everyone's favorite invertebrate is 25 years old. The concept of this character having existed for a quarter century just doesn't even compute in my brain. It does not seem possible, yet here we are. SpongeBob has transcended generations, becoming one of the most iconic cartoon characters of all time, a real cultural phenomenon. And as with many super popular IPs during this time frame, LEGO capitalized on that success, yielding a 6-year run for SpongeBob SquarePants as a theme. Despite only 14 sets in total being produced, that's not enough to stop me from making my picks for the top 10 LEGO SpongeBob SquarePants sets. There are no specific rules today, so without further ado, let's dive into the countdown. Number 10, 3834 Good Neighbors at Bikini Bottom. I could see a debate for this set being a better build than a few of the sets in front of it. However, I decided to leave it at the bottom of this list. Why, you may ask? Well, there's one main reason, and that's the price. You see, just 3 years earlier, Adventures in Bikini Bottom, a set you'll see later on this list, was released for only $40 US. That set came with houses for SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick, recreating the entire street. However, just 3 years after that, we got a set for the exact same price with only one of the 3 aforementioned houses. And frankly, that's kind of ridiculous to me. LEGO's inflation shouldn't be that drastic. That being said, the set was pretty cool, with a reference to one of the first ever episodes of SpongeBob featuring the reef blower. Additionally, we also got a brand new molded head for Squidward, which was much needed. It's still a good design, but it had to be at the bottom of this list for all those reasons I just mentioned. Number 9, 3815 Heroic Heroes of the Deep. One of the biggest misses from LEGO SpongeBob SquarePants as a theme was never giving us Mermaid Man or Barnacle Boy as minifigures, but we got the next best thing, superhero versions of our 2 main characters, along with Plankton in a very unique costume. And those figures are really what sold this set, along with an extremely affordable price of only $15. The Boatmobile build was decent, but it had some strange flaws holding it back. But overall, this is a really fun and colorful, affordable set. Number 8, 3817 The Flying Dutchman. 241 pieces at $25 seems like a good price, but I oddly wish this set were bigger because frankly, the Flying Dutchman should have been a large SpongeBob set. That being said, LEGO wasn't really interested in big sets for this theme, seeing as nothing on this list is more than $50 US. So we were kind of roped into a corner with this small representation of the ship. And frankly, it's a good build for how small it is, including some very creative part choices. Additionally, the pirate variations of both SpongeBob and Patrick look fabulous, and the Flying Dutchman minifigure is so much fun. I wish this set were bigger, I wish this set were better, but it's good enough to be number 8 on my list. Number 7, 3826 Build-A-Bob. A large-scale buildable SpongeBob seems like something LEGO would do today, but this set was oddly kind of ahead of its time in 2006. And yeah, I do think the build showcases its age. I imagine LEGO would have a more accurate shape for the character if they were to remake this set, but 3826 was a very commendable effort for its time, and the play features here were fantastic. I also thought the use of the R2-D2 torso to be Plankton to scale with this buildable SpongeBob was a stroke of genius. Definitely a bizarre set, but one of the more interesting ones on this countdown. Number 6, 3830 The Bikini Bottom Express. This is one of the more simple LEGO SpongeBob sets, but it really works, and I think the build is fabulous. We see the Bikini Bottom Express throughout the entire runtime of the series, so getting it here really helps to build our Bikini Bottom world. The minifigures of this set are a little more plain compared to other entries on this list. However, the build itself stands alone, and I think it's one of the better vehicles they did from SpongeBob. Number 5, 3831 Rocket Ride. Speaking of awesome vehicle sets from the SpongeBob theme, 3831 Rocket Ride is a treat, giving us our first ever Sandy Cheeks LEGO minifigure. Additionally, awesome variations of SpongeBob and Patrick in their astronaut suits look great as well. And finally, the build here is fantastic, recreating something iconic from a beloved episode of the the cartoon. This set was a big winner across the board. Number 4, 4982, Mrs. Puff's Boating School. One of the best recurring jokes across all of SpongeBob SquarePants is how he is such a horrible driver and keeps failing his driving, or in this case, boating test. Because of this, it was inevitable for Mrs. Puff's Boating School to become a Lego set, and they really nailed it. First off, the build for the school itself looks really good and has a very fun cartoonish flair that I quite like. The boatmobile is a fairly simple design but looks good as well. But the coolest part of this set are the play functions. Using a pullback motor, something Lego hasn't used a whole lot in recent memory, Lego was able to create a fun little course for SpongeBob to get up to all sorts of boating accidents. I especially love the wall that can collapse when he hits it. All the functions here are so great. While I don't think this is the single best design from Lego SpongeBob SquarePants, it might have the best playability of the entire theme. Number 3, 4981, the Chum Bucket. One of the most iconic locations in all of Bikini Bottom is Plankton's failed restaurant, the Chum Bucket, which just has a spectacular name. Getting a Lego bucket, which is fairly to scale to actual life-size buckets as a buildable play set, was awesome, and this design looked great. Additionally, it was jam-packed full of references and crazy characters throughout SpongeBob that we see throughout the Chum Bucket's appearances in the series. I especially love the robotic SpongeBob replacement. That is such a fun little design. While this set will always be behind the one in front of it on this list, the Chum Bucket was still a really good build. Number 2, 3825, the Krusty Krab. Yeah, of course the Krusty Krab had to be relatively high on this list, and for 2006, Lego nailed this design. Can we focus on the price of this set here for just a second? It had 285 pieces, including a very large base plate, and only retailed for $20 despite brand new molds for SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs respectively. Legitimately, I think a set of this size would cost like 60 to 70 bucks if it were released today. The build is also extremely accurate, has Krabby Patties flying all over the place, tons of space, great references. It is a really faithful recreation of the iconic restaurant. And this set holds a special place in my heart because I remember finding it at Toys R Us, not even knowing Lego SpongeBob SquarePants existed as a theme, and buying it on the spot. This is one of the most iconic Lego SpongeBob sets of all time, but what is better than this? Well, that's number 1, 3827, Adventures in Bikini Bottom. This is the ultimate Lego SpongeBob SquarePants set. They made the entire street for our 3 main characters in spectacular fashion. Sure, some of the colors aren't super accurate. Squidward's Easter Island head should probably be more dark blue and Gary should be more pink, but other than that, this set is pretty much perfect. Being able to get 3 different buildings in just a $40 set with nearly 600 pieces is unheard of even for 2006 standards. Looking at that in 2024, it's just a pipe dream of a price. There's a reason this set is now worth over $500 sealed. It is just that good looking and is by far the most iconic thing from SpongeBob as a TV show. I can't think of any one set from this theme that better represents the cartoon, which is why this had to come at first place on my list. But those are just my picks. Let me know your list down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. God bless. Bye-bye.